and welcome to Parenting to Win. I'm your host, Clarinda McGrady. If you're new to this site, parentingtowin.com is your one-stop shop for all your parenting needs. Here, you'll find helpful tips and expert advice for all parents, no matter if you have kids in diapers or kids in dorms. Today, we're going to be speaking with parenting coach Tony Gaskins. Tony has been seen on the Oprah Winfrey Show, the Tyra Banks Show. He is an author, a motivational speaker, and he's a father. Tony, thank you and welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
Today, we're going to be speaking with Tony on the issue of should parents be their kids' friends or do they need to stick with just being the parent? Tony, one of the things that caught my attention is I saw a tweet that you did, and it said something to the fact that parents need to stick with being parents, kids have enough friends. And so that caught my attention because it's sort of the era that we're in today where lots of parents are sort of befriending and they're stepping outside of the role as parents. So, what's going on with that?
Well, I think it's because today the world is moving so much faster. Mm-hmm. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, you know, the kids are more advanced. They're smoking marijuana in middle school. You know, sex is being introduced to them at an early age, the music they're listening to. So the parents call me to be a mediator.
Right.
So I speak to the parents from the kids' perspective and to the kids from the parents' perspective.
Wow. Okay, so how are some areas, how are parents, what are they doing crossing that boundary to become a friend?
Well, you know, most often I find it's in single parent homes.
Okay.
Where the mother or the father has been abandoned by their partner.
Okay.
And they're afraid to lose the only person they have to love, which is their child. And they feel like if I make them mad, if I upset them, then he or she is gonna run to their father or run to their mother and I'll be alone. And so they say, you know what, let me be your friend, thinking that that's gonna keep them there.
Exactly.
And it blows up in their face.
And what are some of the actions, things that they do or things that they say? How are they into that friendship role now?
Well, there's mothers that I've coached that allow their teenage son to smoke marijuana in his room, allow their teenage daughter to have parties and drink alcohol under the age of 21. So essentially they're telling their child, it's okay to break the law as long as you do it at home, thinking that that's going to protect the child and that the child will stay home.
Exactly.
But not realizing that the boy will say, hey, since I can smoke it in my room, I can also smoke in my car.
Exactly.
I can smoke while I'm driving. And so she's setting them up to fail.
Right. And then how does that change the role of being a disciplinarian when you allow that into the home and then maybe you want to switch next week to back discipline the child? Does that work?
No, it doesn't, because once you mix, parenting and friendship, you've kind of blurred the line.
Exactly.
So it's almost like when you're a teenager, you talk to your friends about all your problems, but you don't necessarily listen to them. You may talk to your teacher or your coach or your older brother or sister like a mentor, and that's who you listen to. So what happens is parents, they're being a friend, their best friend, they're laughing, they're joking, they're drinking together. And then when they get serious, the child laughs in their face. Like, who are you to tell me? You know, you've come to my level. You don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. So when you do cross over to that level, for the parents that have that aha moment when the light bulb goes off, can they then go back and redefine that authoritative figure, or is it too late?
9 out of 10 times it's too late. You know, it'll take a while. It'll take, breaking down. It'll take forcing that child to leave, whether that means, they run out on you, calling your bluff.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay with my dad, And so it takes sometimes 2 or 3 years to, reshape, and retrain the child to say, I'm your parent, not just your confidant.
But it's possible.
Yes, it is possible.
And when does that normally take place? Is it more prevalent when kids are in the more formative years, or when they're more in the high school years when we're seeing parents that are sort of abandoning that role as parent but being friend?
It's usually in the high school, during that time to where they know sex will be introduced, marijuana, alcohol, and wanting the child to feel safe, wanting the child to feel like you can come talk to me. And so they stop parenting and they start being the best friend. And that is, you know, the most critical time in a child's life, you know, in a teen's life, that they need to be shaped and prepared for the real world. And so when parents step out of that parenting role, they begin to, you know, break down that child's mental ability to assess what's happening in the world when they leave home. And, you know, that's why we see the kids, you know, DUIs, getting arrested in school. I just heard on the news some kids got arrested selling marijuana brownies in, you know, at the high school.
As in marijuana in the brownies.
Right, right. And cookies, you know, walking through school selling them. And, you know, a lot of times they had to cook them at home in their oven.
Exactly.
You know?
So you're saying that obviously the parents assumingly have known about that and allowing that to happen.
Right.
So what happens for the parents that say, okay, so I'm not supposed to be friendly with my kids? Does that mean you can't be friendly to your child? How do the roles, where do the roles cross over?
It's almost like we hear, you know, business is business, friends are friends. Don't put the two in the same sentence. It goes hand in hand. You can be a friend and you can be a parent. But what it means is that you open up and you talk to your child.
Right.
But when it's time to parent, you parent your child. So basically, you're not coming down to their level.
Exactly.
By being a friend, you're showing affection. You're using affirming words, powerful statements, speaking into their life, showing them that you support them and that you love them. You're telling them, I love you. You're hugging them. You're kissing them. So that is what should be a friend, not let's sit on the couch and have a beer. You know? So there's a difference. It's a fine line, and, you know, we often cross it.
What about the kids that they see their other friends' parents in that friendship role, and they're putting the pressure on their own parents? How can parents sort of stand firm and stick to their grounds of being the authoritative parent?
Well, it's important that parents always remember that it's our job to train up a child.
Yes.
That they don't know what the world will hit them with. They don't know what's coming next. And it's our job, even when it's against their will, to do what's right for them. Knowing that they'll come into an age to where they look back and they say, they're either gonna say, you should have made me, or I thank you for making me. So parents have to remember that. You can't say, well, I'm gonna let them experience the world on their own. I'm gonna let them learn some things, because they may lose their life in the process.
Absolutely. You know, for parents that are listening to this and they're considering, am I that parent or not? What are a couple telltale signs that you may be tinkering over into the realm of being a friend?
If you are condoning maladaptive behaviors, if you're condoning illegal behaviors like smoking marijuana, drinking alcohol under the age of 21, having sex, which could lead to, you know, pregnancy or STDs, if you're condoning behaviors that in that moment may be pleasurable, but continuously doing it, that pleasure will lead to pain, that is what you have to look at. And if you're condoning those things, then you're crossing that line and you're becoming a friend, which is really isn't a friend. You know, you're almost hating your child instead of loving your child. Right.
Well, Tony, I want to thank you so much. But before we close out, you know, here at Parenting to Win, our goal is to equip and to empower parents to go out and to win at parenting. So before we end, I'd like to ask you, what is the one winning takeaway piece that you can give to parents that are watching in regards to standing firm on being a parent and not the friend?
Well, I would tell parents to always remember the 3 C's. Clarity, which is letting your child know what you expect from them. Consistency, sticking to it, always remaining the same. And consequences. So that they don't uphold what you've asked of them, they pay a consequence. So clarity, consistency, and consequences.
Love it, Tony. And before we leave, if you can tell our guests where they can, I know you've got your hands on so many different projects, how they can get a hold of you or where they can go to see your new products and your new services that you have.
TonyGaskins.com, or you can email me at advice@TonyGaskins.com.
Tony, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at Parenting to Win. We hope that you enjoyed today's show. Until next time, I'm Clarinda McGrady reminding you that to raise your children to be champions makes you a winner every time.